I mean, I think in terms of whether investors are right to be worried, this is quite a sector-specific question going forward. The changes, the sort of strategy that Erdogan and his son-in-law have masterminded in Turkey is about driving growth, about expanding job opportunities, creating wealth in Turkey. So for some investors in some sectors, this actually means lots more opportunities, sped up bureaucratic processes. But at the same time, yes, there are these concerns about rule of law, about family ties taking precedence over over some more rational concerns. And then, yes, I mean, of course, these pose risks. But I think for me, the key takeaway right now is until the dust settles on the new system, we won't get that clear a picture of how this all operates. What we're looking at is under these new changes, merging into public institutions, moves of key posts and ministries. So it's not yet fully clear how this new government will operate. So I think we need to wait a few months, watch as the dust settles on this new system, and then see how the government strategy going forward, of which Erdogan's son-in-law is a key part, about driving growth, creating opportunities for business, plays out in light of this heavily concentrated power. Does it mean great things for business? But does it mean consistent challenges?
And as you say, there's still the dust has to settle, and there's still a lot of things that have to move in terms of the moving parts, what his government's really going to look like. But it's interesting to me that, that with those 10 years of phenomenal economic growth that he's really credited with, a lot of the folks that were very instrumental in making that happen are no longer a part of his government. They're no longer a part of his inner circle. So should investors actually, take a pause there? I mean, yes, as you say, there are a lot of opportunities right now, and potentially even more coming on down the pike, certainly for Turkish investors in Turkey as well. But is there some worry that at the end of the day, without those key players still in place, you really just have, as you have with the U.S. president, a very uncertain future with President Erdogan?
Well, I mean, that's exactly it, yeah. With Al-Barak, the president's son-in-law, taking over the finance ministry, for finance and treasury ministry that now exists, we're seeing this a clear sign that the unorthodox policies of last years are likely to continue going forward, and the key names from before don't yet appear to be that near the palace. As these new institutions, emerge and new appointments are made over the coming weeks, we may see some of these more well-known faces reappear in instrumental positions. But then again, the question is how much influence they'll have. And this is something for us that we've been watching very closely. We need to try and sort of figure out exactly how decision processes are going to be made going forward, and especially if, as some are expecting, there's going to be a crisis in Turkey over the next year, or a hard landing. Some kind of further downturn. We need to try and get a sense of how the government is going to react to that. If this happens, who's going to be calling the shots? Who's going to be saying this is how we need to respond to this crisis? And right now we just don't really know. Very few people in Ankara really could say with certainty how this is going to unfold.
And George, I appreciate your comment that it could take some months to figure out what exactly the policy changes in the new cabinet will pan out to look like for the economy. But many would say the economy can't wait that long. I mean, there have been calls for the central bank to hike just this month even. Do you think that is now less likely, considering the fact that Erdogan has tightened his grip on the central bank?
I mean, difficult to say exactly how likely or not a hike is, but Erdogan has definitely tightened his grip. And sort of measures needed right now important measures to help the Turkish economy right now are going to be held up by this. Just by the as we're talking about the dust settling on the new institutions. Most likely, this sort of meddling in monetary policy from the government, so government-Turkish bank relations unlikely to get any smoother going forward. And I think one of the big questions going forward is whether local elections can be brought forward. So local elections are scheduled for March 2019. There's been rhetoric coming out from the government that or sort of parties close to the government that these elections should be brought forward. If that happens, if the government manages to get the parliamentary majority it needs to bring the local elections forward, we're unlikely to see a hike in monetary policy, because this would run counter to the government's electoral interest going into these local elections. At the same time, Erdogan demonstrated a willingness to give some breathing space to the central bank with the most recent hikes. But yeah, could this be too little, too late?
Yes, because even if we put the politics aside, the external economic fundamentals aren't doing Turkey any favors here. We are talking about a macro environment with Fed rate hikes. That puts countries with current account deficits really in the crosshairs here. You've talked about that many are on alert, worried about a looming economic crisis in Turkey. Do you think it will come to that, and when?
And these things are so hard to predict. I mean, for us as a business consultancy, we're trying to look at the potential options and then how we can manage them if and when they come about. So rather than trying to put a sort of an exact percentage on whether this is going to happen, but I mean, yeah, of course, there's a strong likelihood. If I could put it like that, it wouldn't surprise that many if it happens over the next 12 months. But the Turkish economy has shown massive resilience over the last 10, 15 years under Erdogan. So at the same time, there's still reason to have hope and to keep looking positively at Turkey in that sense.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.